Welcome to Friday Friends, RI Elder Info's weekly look at the organizations and individuals providing resources for Rhode Island seniors, caregivers, and professionals.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Friday Friends. It is a beautiful Friday morning. It is September 10th. It is my birthday. I am Deb Burton, founder and creator of RI Elder Info and RIElderInfo.com. It is the most comprehensive resource for seniors, caregivers, and professionals in Rhode Island. And every Friday, I join you all here at 9 o'clock to bring to you information and resources that can help you remain independent for as long as possible, help you remain healthy and happy and, just engaged with life. But I'm hoping that you have seen me here before, but if not, this is your first time, I welcome you. It's really important that you hit the like button and the share button, because I promise you that there's going to be someone that you know right here in Rhode Island that is going to need the information that we are going to talk about today. So RI Elder Info is a 501c3 nonprofit. What we do would not be possible without the support of our sponsors and our donors. So I have to give a big shout out to Oak Street Health, to United Healthcare, to Tamarisk Assisted Living, to D&B Media, who runs the magic that happens behind the scenes here for me, as well as England Studio. England Studio maintains the RIElderInfo.com website and make sure that you see what we're doing out there and that you're aware, and really helps us market. So as you all know, today is Friday, September 10th. It is the day before September 11th. Funny how it always works, the 10th before the 11th. But as we all know, September 11th was a day that changed our lives. And 20 years ago, thousands of people lost their lives. And we can't not acknowledge that here at RI Elder Info. We do a lot of work with our veterans and our veteran community. When those planes hit the towers or the Pentagon or went down in the field, it encouraged a lot of individuals to sign up and join our military to defend our country. The Afghanistan war is one of the longest wars that has ever happened in American history. And we've all watched the nightly news lately and seen how that is still unfolding, the ending of that war. And one of the things that I think we don't necessarily realize is that's not the only war that has produced veterans in our country. We still have individuals here in Rhode Island, approximately 40,000 veterans, about 9,000 from World War II, 21,000 from the Vietnam War, and about 15,000 from the Gulf War, Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation New Dawn, and Operation Enduring Freedom. So that's a lot of veterans. And there's a lot of folks from all eras who have been feeling a lot of different things as the 20th anniversary of September 11th comes up, and as we pull out of Afghanistan and we see what's unfolding over there. And I had this gentleman on my Calling All Veterans virtual conference back in August, and the wealth of information that he had, I knew it was going to be extremely important to have him come back on today to share the resources that are available through the Disabled American Veterans Association. I'd like to welcome up Commander Wally Coelho. Hi, Wally.
Good morning. Good morning, Deb. Nice to see you today.
It's good to see you. How are you?
I'm great. No complaints.
Good. So I know that, you were with us for the virtual veterans conference, which, we really focus on veterans resources and getting the word out into the veteran communities. Friday Friends, really, we're followed by everybody from all walks of life. So for those folks who might have missed Calling All Veterans virtual conference, can you share what is the Disabled American Veterans? What is the DAV? What do you do?
Well, the Disabled American Vets work to legislate and to connect disabled American veterans who have served in all of our wars to be able to get the services and opportunities that are still available to them. And many of our veterans are unaware of what they have or what is available to them in the community. So we try to make sure we connect them with our service officers, our national service officers down in Providence, to be able to, if they have issues, health issues that are still looming, or some that there are the ones that are connected, but we're trying to reach the other 70% of veterans who are not connected to service organizations or the VA in any way. They just, they're working in their lives. They have issues from when they served, but they have their own health care. And some of them just feel like they don't want to take something away from another veteran who might be able to get it. That's kind of a misnomer. They shouldn't worry about that. It doesn't take away from a veteran in need of any kind. It is what is considered in the workplace. Workers' comp is similar to workers' comp. You file a claim for something that was service connected, from an injury or something that is internal now, or cancer that you've gotten because of Agent Orange, for example, Camp Lejeune, the water, Camp McClellan, where they produced the Agent Orange. There's various other things that are connected to your service. And if you have an issue, this is where you want to contact a service organization, DAV, US, VFW, American Legion. We all have service officers. So you can contact anyone. You can Google a service organization in your area. You can go down to Providence and to the federal building, and the VA is there, because you can also go to the VA. I always say it's probably a little better to go through a service organization. You're talking to someone who's sitting in front of you, who went through what you went through, and probably knows more about how to identify and explain the issues you're having, so that the VA has everything they need. Cross all the T's, dot all the I's. Remember, we're still working with a government agency, bureaucracy, and we all know what that is, red tape. So you want to make sure that you have all of your information, all your ducks in a row before you go. You want your DD-214 in your hand. You want your medical records if you're not connected with the VA where they can access them. But if you have doctors that you've been seeing on the outside, you want to get a letter from them. You want to get your records, and you want to go and see a service officer if you want to do that ahead of time, where you can fill out some of your paperwork, but you can go down to Providence and make sure that you have all your information, file your claim. Again, everybody is different, like our fingerprints. Just because another veteran says, oh, I got it for hearing and I got such a percentage, that doesn't mean you're going to get that. There is VA math. It's at work there too. So, but nonetheless, most important, if you have issues that are service connected, you are entitled to compensation, and you're entitled to the health care that you may need as you get older. As we all get older, these things come up. It might not have been something that bothered you. It might have bothered you 20 years ago, but now it really has been aggravated by getting older or something else that's now compounding it. So,
yeah, it's interesting because, I talk to folks and, I'll ask, were you injured in the war? And a lot of times the answer is like, well, not really. So I'll ask, all right, so were you in a position where maybe you fired a weapon? Are you having any hard time hearing? Because I know that guns are really loud. How is your back? How is your knees, your ankles? Were you jumping out of planes? How do they feel now? And people don't necessarily realize that these things can add up. And they're not taking away. Well, let me ask you, if a veteran applies for benefits, is he or she taking away from benefits that another veteran might have?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And even in enrolling in the VA medical care, does not take away from another veteran. As a matter of fact, it actually helps in the federal dollars. So for example, like there are 8 categories that you can in enrollment when you enroll into the VA, which you might be one that had very little, you don't qualify quite yet. You might be a number 1 or a number 2. You can go online and see what those 8 categories are. So that, let's for example say, when I was working, I didn't need the VA. I had my health care. I had U.S. Health care and all that. But what happens when your job goes away or something else, when they find out that, yes, you have a cancer and now your percentage is 30%, 40%, you get to 50%, you're going to get 100% health care from the VA. This now changed your category. Now you moved up to the number 8 spot where, all your healthcare needs are going to be taken care of. You have a cancer, so all your drugs, all your tests, everything is going to be taken care of over that 50%, at 30% as well, but there might be co-pays and such. So it is somewhat connected sometimes to your eligibility, but also there's what you make, how much your income is and such in that part of the enrollment. But you are enrolled. So by enrolling, you're creating federal dollars to help veterans who are enrolled and who are getting their care. So in answer to that question, yes, you want to enroll in the VA. And let's not forget, you can put your card down and get 10% at Lowe's and Home Depot, at wherever they give 10% for a veteran. So
that should be everywhere. I wish it was everywhere.
I know.
It's much deserved. So when you're talking about a 1 or a 2 or a 7 or an 8, what does that mean?
That's just the eligibility parts. It could be that you're making too much money, or that you have you have your assets are higher, that your health care is not falling into that category of you need immediate or emergency health care of any kind, or you're not really service connected in healthcare that way, but you are a veteran and you are eligible to enroll. So all the veterans are eligible to enroll in the VA healthcare system. And like I said, life changes. Jobs change. Sometimes jobs go away. Company closes, it's going to move to New Mexico, but you don't want to move there. So now you're out of a job and you're also out of your healthcare in 30 days. So that would change if you were already enrolled. That would change your position. And
that makes sense. So it is always a safety net for our veterans. If you want to have your employer's insurance, that's great. You can,
right.
But if something happens, you can still go to the VA.
Right.
So when we talk about our disabled veterans, what about their families? Are their families, their spouses or their children, are they eligible for any benefits if the veteran signs up at the VA?
They are eligible for a stipend if whatever the claim percentage is and whatever the amount that a veteran is getting as compensation as a spouse or a child, if your spouse is not in the picture, will still get a stipend of that. And it just increases your amount. So, for example, let's say 50% is almost $1,000. Then it probably would give another $150 or $100 and change to your wife. I'm not actually sure what that number is, but that's,
yep.
It is a little bit more because you are married, but they are not entitled to any other benefits. They don't get to go to the VA or anything like that. The only thing they did last year was that the COVID vaccine, you were allowed toward the middle of it, that your spouses could actually go get and family could get the shot.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
so, when you're talking about going to get the shot, I think those shots were given a lot of times at the VA hospital. Does the DAV, do they provide any access to help people get to the VA hospital?
Only with the vans. And again, out here in the veteran community, many of us and I'll say even myself, we'll take someone if they are really in need. Sometimes if they know, if they're in our organizations, they usually know somebody that they can call up and say, any chance that you can help me out. I took my neighbor to the VA hospital a couple of weeks ago for a heart checkup because his wife, they're in their 80s and she doesn't like to drive. So they're neighbors and they're friends. So,
Yep.
That way, but no, it's not like you can call up the DAV and say, I need a ride to the VA hospital. Somewhere along the line, we usually tell folks, and again, I know Uber is out there if they don't drive. You can take a cab, but there are facility there at the hospital that will come to you. The DAV, our state DAV is going to buy another van as well. So there's hundreds of thousands of miles on the ones they have because there's a lot of driving. You got to, remember they can go as far down as Westerly, that end of the state, and go from one end of the state to the other to pick up veterans to bring them. But again, call the VA hospital.
Yep.
The transportation.
Yep.
And
I just put that up on the
set up
screen. The 273-7100 extension 13550 is the VA hospital transport number. So they'll be able to coordinate getting transportation. So that way folks can get the care that they need.
Right.
Now, when people are applying for benefits, should they hire someone or pay someone to get their benefits done?
Absolutely no.
Okay.
No way.
Not only no, but no way.
It is, yeah, no way. Again, when the DAV started right after World War I, and we had all these, the government didn't anticipate how many would come back wounded and hurt, not just deceased, but wounded and hurt, and we weren't set up for it. So they started this organization, as many of the organizations started, to advocate for these veterans who are now homeless. They were, sitting on street corners, begging. And it was a disgrace. It was a national disgrace. And even as we came in out of World War II, even after we learned what we did from World War I, we came out of World War II in kind of the same situation where we did have some programs in place, but they were weak. And again, DAV, VFW, American Legion, all of them advocated, legislated. We got the government involved to where we are today, where I think our VA offers exceptional care for all of us as far as the health care. And we have a lot of benefits, education and such. But again, it's a constant fight. We have to always be on our toes. We always have to legislate. Each state is differently. But it is what we do for our fellow veterans.
So for folks watching, I just wanted to let you know, if you're looking for a veteran service organization, whether it be the DAV or the VFW, American Legion, you can actually find that on RI Elder Info. We'll drop a link in the chat. Operation Connect is a resource guide that RI Elder Info put together, and it is the only printable resource guide that contains federal, state, and local resources for veterans, and they're all free resources. Because like Wally said, no, absolutely no, should you be paying, to get connected to the benefits that you're entitled to. As a civilian, a lot of times it's the civilian caregiver and the paperwork seems like so overwhelming, all these little boxes. And, if it's the spouse of a veteran, whose social security number am I putting on the form? And what is this military ID? And, how do I get a copy of, my dad's discharge paperwork and the DD-214? Can the veteran service organizations or the veteran service officers help people get copies of their DD-214?
Yes, they can. You can also go online. Sadly, right now is about an 18 to 24 month delay in getting any of our information because of COVID. They were not working from the office. So when a request came in and they went down, there was nobody to go into the archives and pull out that paperwork on that individual. So they acknowledged that I received your request, and I don't know where it went from there, but this was a faux pas on the part of the federal government. We missed something in there, and now they're playing catch up, and they are working on it because it's an initiative we're pushing toward. Again, as I said, this is what our organizations do as well.
Yep.
And we get our local senators and our congressional committees involved in getting these things resolved quickly. But at this point right now, someone actually requesting even like a simple DD 214 to bury a loved one, it's a hard way to go. It's 18 to 24 months. I'm hoping that's coming down, because that was the number I received back in June, I think it was, or May, and so that's a concern. But yes, in answer again to your question, we can help with. That's the point. We can help fill out those paperwork, because it is daunting, and sometimes you get, like, even when somebody's trying to do something online, and you get to that one step that I don't have that answer, it's going to, now I've been in it too long and it kicks you out.
Yep.
Not good. So, again, our national service officers, the ones downtown, they actually sitting in front of the computer, and they will input if you're sitting next to them. So you make an appointment, you call it up and make an appointment, and go down and sit down with them, and they are going to help you, walk you through it all. And if you need more, they will tell you, you need to go get this, you need to go get that. The important thing is that you filed an intent to file. All right. So by this intent, everything is retroactive from today. So if I went down there right now and said, I want to put in a claim for my hearing, I was in the artillery unit, and I know my hearing is gone, I'm going to need hearing aids and such. But I don't have any of my paperwork. I don't have my DD 214, or I don't have my doctor's record here. They will tell you, all right, this is what you're going to need, and they're going to spell it out for you. And in the meantime, we're filing an intent to file, so that means in 3 months, if I finally get a resolution to it, and they are going to award me a stipend of it, that's going to be retro to today. So I think Father Phil said he got like $15,000 because it took so long for him to get to his when he was speaking on that. So
you want to get that clock started as soon as possible. Even in that intent to file is basically saying, hey, VA, I'm going to be filing paperwork, giving you the heads up, start the clock running today, because it's going to take me a little while to get the paperwork to you. It's going to take you a while to approve the paperwork, but I want the clock to start ticking as of today. So maybe I'll completely make up the timeline, but say December, you get approved, you're getting money back to September 10th forward. And then you get the regular monthly check after that.
Exactly.
Got it. So, we see a lot of things on TV, like the Wounded Warrior and Tunnel to Towers and things like that, that really emphasize our military members who have real significant physical injuries. Not everyone has physical injuries from war.
No, there's the invisible wounds of war. Okay.
Can you talk about that some?
Well, I certainly can. I am a member of the Multi-State Governors Challenge to Prevent Suicide and Awareness. It's an amazing group of folks who, and we're trying to make a site for Rhode Island. It's designed to help each state make their own site with the information that we need, that we're gathering from all of the states and from all of our experiences. So this is going to be something that the state will have, and we want to keep it simple. Again, to the invisible wounds of war, what people don't realize, and we'll talk about our longest war than we've ever been in. A Brown study said we have lost 30,100 active and veteran from Afghan, Iraq wars to suicide. That's 4 times more than we lost in combat.
Oh my
God. Again, that number, that sobering number, 30,100 active or veteran from the Iraqi, Afghanistan wars have committed suicide.
That makes me choked up.
Yeah, it does.
That's not okay.
No, it's not okay.
And, we lost during the Afghanistan war. The last numbers I saw is we lost about 2,400 and some folks, 13 in August. We have, I believe it's over 25,000 individuals who were significantly wounded in the war.
Oh, absolutely.
It drives me absolutely nuts when people talk about the financial cost of war and how much has been spent over there. Because the reality is that that's 24,000 lives that are never going to be the same. That's 2,400 some families that won't have their loved one come home. And now to hear that once they do come home, over 30,000 have taken their own life.
20 years. Yes.
That's not okay. It's not okay.
So we are losing that every day. We're losing veterans, and they're struggling. They're, again, there's a lot of issues that, come up in their lives. And again, we have a whole group that have families. This whole 20 years, we have soldiers, a couple of those that just passed, that weren't even born or were just born when this war started. And then they went off and, they're not coming home, or if they're coming home hurt.
Yeah.
Maimed,
Most of the 13 who were just killed in August were not old enough to drink a beer.
There you go. And again, they were just babies when the towers were hit. So they're a generation that grew up during this time, where our country changed its outlook on the first time we had on our own home ground an attack.
Yeah.
We had the Boston Marathon attack and things like that. That those were wake-up calls to us that, we're not invulnerable. We are in danger always. And now with this situation of the way we pulled out over here and how quickly the Taliban has retaken that country it's astounding. I will take nothing away from all these young men and women who served over there, because they are protecting our democracy. They did go over there and help. They did make a difference. They did change lives. It's just sad that their country let them down. I'm not going to say that our soldiers certainly did not.
Absolutely not.
Maybe we didn't anticipate, like we should have, the complete downfall of the country. And I don't know what to say toward that other than it's disappointing, having seen the same type of exodus from Vietnam. And we also saw that once I was in the engineers over in Vietnam, we built compounds, which we would turn over to the South Vietnamese soldiers. And then once we left, they got run over and taken over just as quickly. So, when Saigon fell, it was the same kind of feeling to me.
Yeah.
That, how did this, we've given them all this for 20 years. And so I don't know what we would have done going forward.
Right. And I think, a lot of people are in agreement that we can't keep sending our men and women over to die in another country when that country is not sustaining itself.
Right.
We can't make that country sustain itself.
No.
And it's not reasonable to have our men and women continue to sacrifice for that. What I did see in, the last few, it all started, the failure started in August of the Afghan government. I started seeing our Vietnam veterans reaching out to our Afghanistan veterans.
Yes.
And although the reason for it is bad, it was good to see the connection between the older veterans and the younger veterans. I think it's really important that we support each other in all the ways we possibly can.
Right. We'll never leave a generation behind ever again.
Yeah.
Ever again.
Yeah. And, for a lot of the men and women who went were part of the Vietnam War, when you came home, you were not treated properly. And I know that a lot of men and women were really kind of turned away from the VA. And now, I try to get the word out that it's okay to return. It's safe. A lot of the policies, a lot of the beliefs have changed. And, to reach out to organizations such as the Disabled American Vets or the VFW or the American Legion, and talk to your fellow veterans and let them know that you can come back into the VA healthcare system, that there are resources available now that didn't exist back in the 70s.
Right.
That's something that's really important.
It is. Our VA Medical Center here in Providence is amazing.
Yeah.
I feel it's very amazing. I have no complaint whatsoever. They work hard at trying to make sure that everybody gets treated properly. Of course, not everybody is always happy because they're not always happy with the outcome or whatever's happening. And I'm going to say I think there's a 90% approval rate or 93% approval rate from people who get their service from the VA Medical Center. They're just amazing over there. They go in, the respect is beyond amazing. You'll always get taken care of and treated properly. Again, I thank them every time I go. I just had my physical the other day. It was amazing. I thanked everyone for their service to us because they always thank us as soon as we walk in, and they treat us, with like kid gloves, great care.
Yeah, right from the valets at the hospital to
Right yes.
You walk through the door and, people are happy to tell you, like, where do you need to get to and give you directions within the hospital. Because if you're going in for the first time, I don't care if you're going into the VA hospital, Rhode Island hospital, a new medical provider, it is anxiety provoking to try to oh my God, am I going to know where I need to go?
Yeah.
And the VA really does a great job. Our Providence VA really does a great job in giving people that reassurance. If you are a female veteran, they have an area outside of the main hospital so that if you are a female veteran and you're not comfortable going through the area where there may be a higher population of male veterans, there's a safe space.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, they do a lot of things. Providence VA Hospital is ranked one of the top VA hospitals in the country.
It really is.
Yeah.
Our whole New England healthcare system, all the way up Maine, all the way down Connecticut area, they're really just amazing.
Yeah.
And you can go wherever you need to go. If I had a heart situation, they're telling me we'll be sending you right up to Boston because that's where our specialists are.
Yep.
So you'll go where you need to be.
Exactly. And there's transportation if you need to get to Boston.
Yes, absolutely. There's even like, I'll call it like a Ronald McDonald House up there that the VA has so that your wife or family can go up there if you're going to be in the hospital for some time and you have to travel up to Boston.
Yeah.
So
that's good. Like when you think about that as we get older, for our spouses and our loved ones to drive to Boston, heck, driving to Boston, the Boston traffic alone is a little intimidating at any age. Right. So, if you compound that with being worried about the loved one that needs treatment, it's awesome that there's transportation available as well as a place for that loved one to stay.
Right.
Because our loved one, we don't always think about when you're in the hospital, there is healthcare value in having your loved one be able to come by and talk to you and hold your hand and reassure you. And that's not something that healthcare as a whole talks about very often, but there's absolutely value in that. I did want to say, September is Suicide Awareness Month. And, you just gave me that awful information about 30,100 individuals have taken their lives. If somebody is in crisis, they can call the VA crisis line. Yes. That's the 1-800-273-8255 and choose option number 1. If your loved one, and I just learned about this from Jean Smith over at the Providence VA, who's amazing. She is the suicide prevention coordinator. If you have a loved one who is having a mental health crisis and maybe suicidal or homicidal, they do provide gun locks so that that weapon can be made safe while that individual is in crisis,
Right.
to keep everyone safe. So that, and it's free. It's not, I know a lot of times folks are very concerned about losing their guns and not being able to get them back. And this is a way to make sure that everyone remains safe and not having to deal with that fear of losing your weapons.
Right.
So that's something that's really important for people to know.
Right. And again, to that, 32% of the United States adults say they personally own firearms, and 44% of them say they have them in their homes. So nearly 50% of all veterans own a weapon. And again, gun owners keep and carry firearms for different reasons. So it's a tough one there. Some for home protection, some for hunting, some for competition, some for recreational shooting. So we need to encourage, in order for us to encourage firearm safety, we have to meet the needs of all the individuals, because not one size fits all. So people act impulsively, and creating time and distance between action and key is important, which you're speaking to right there.
Yep.
So, for example, storing ammunition somewhere else in a separate location, putting a gun lock on the gun, store the key somewhere else, place a photograph of a loved one, a child, your wife, on the gun cabinet, and Safeguard will put a picture of a loved one on the gun for free. So, and again, as I said once before, it is all about diffusing the moment. You have to create that time and distance from the moment there's a thought to where, if right now, if I can pick up this, it's right in front of me. Obviously, there's no time and distance, but if I've got to walk to the cabinet, but I don't have the key, it's somewhere else. Those are things that need to be addressed for gun safety in that respect. Same with medicines and medicine cabinets. It applies to the same type of reasoning. Make sure you make it next to impossible to quickly go get something that's going to assist.
Be lethal. Yeah. And you're making that instant decision that has lifetime consequences.
Right.
And as horrific as that 30,100 number is, I have to question whether that number is even high enough for the folks who maybe accidentally overdosed or accidentally drove their car into a tree at 90 miles an hour.
Exactly.
So that the number may even be much higher than what we talk about. And so I think that makes it really important for people to know that there is help available. There are programs like the DAV, the VFW, the American Legion, anything like that can help you navigate the system to get the help that you need. And just on a super simplified thought, one of the things I've seen my veteran friends do is simply a buddy check.
Absolutely.
Call them.
How you doing?
And it doesn't matter if you are a civilian or if you are a military member, if you know somebody who served, just call and say, hi, I was thinking about you. I care about you enough to call and make sure you're okay.
Yeah. I think it was last year that Dare to Dream Ranch ran a buddy connection event. And they do a lot of that where they connect veterans to each other and down there for that equine.
Yes. Karen Dalton, Dare to Dream Ranch, also a nonprofit. She's amazing. Right. Amazing what she does over there.
And Randy does the fishing charters. So, and that's a chance for these veterans to get together and talk amongst themselves.
Yep. So,
and again, hopefully by going into 2022, that our 988 line comes up and comes on, that Senator Reed championed that initiative.
Yep.
And it's going to be set up similar to the 911, 911 number, with trained individuals and such. It's taken a while because, again, it has to be training. But once again, like the number you just gave, I can't remember that. But I know that we'll be able to remember 988 once it becomes like 911 to everybody. We all know. We don't know our local police number. I couldn't tell you I couldn't give you that number off the top of my head right now. But I can call 911 and I will be connected.
Exactly.
So that's big, and that's going to be huge when we finally get it online. And I'm thinking maybe mid 2022 by the time it's actually up and running. But I think it'll make all the difference.
And that's for folks who are suicidal or having a mental health crisis. They'll be able to dial 988. It hasn't rolled out yet. It did get a little bit delayed because of the whole COVID thing. So, but in the meantime, if somebody is having a crisis, that is 1-800-273-8255. Pick option number 1. You don't even have to listen to 5,000. If this, then that, rub your head, pat your belly, we'll get you connected to somebody. No, just hit the 1. And they've got trained people there, and they answer really quickly. So it's not like you're left on hold or being told, oh, we're sorry, all lines are busy. Please call back at another time. Leave us a message.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's also the other helpline, 1-800-233-TALK, which you'll be able to do. And that one, again, I don't know what those numbers are for talk, but I can spell talk.
Yes, exactly.
So that works.
This has been awesome having you on again. I'm quite so the DAV, is it a 501c3 nonprofit?
Yes, it is.
So if people wanted to support the outreach that you're doing to make sure that veterans can get transportation to the medical services that they need, that they have the help to get the paperwork done that can feel really overwhelming, to have you be able to have these conversations, how can people support the DAV? What do you need to? Is it donations, financial? Is it?
Yep. Well, people? Obviously, donations are always great. You can make it to the state DAV. You can make it to your local chapters in your area. I happen to be East Bay, Portsmouth, Middletown, Bristol, Warren. So like chapter 15, of which I'm the commander of there, you can make a donation to DAV chapter 15, or you can just do it right to the state, where we will put that money into whatever's needed to buy another van, that's huge, because this is where all of our monies come from. They come from fundraising or donations. And the DAV uses, like, I believe it's 88 or 91% of the donation goes strictly to helping veterans. I know in the DAV, it has to, if we're going to spend any money, it has to be to benefit a veteran.
Yeah.
So, if we need to go build a ramp for somebody, which actually, now that's while I'm here, give me one more minute.
Sure.
I just found out, because we have a veteran who's in need right now of a ramp. I just found out that the VA will build a ramp for him. They have to contact their primary care, and it'll be set up through there. And again, depending on the severity of what the needs are, there's even the adaptability for your automobiles and such like that. So that's something a lot of veterans don't know. And I didn't know, even as a veteran service officer. I just found that out. So hopefully, because we always usually get a bunch of us together, and somebody goes to Lowe's or Home Depot and we buy what we need, and we go there and we build it. But if we can get something from the VA.
So if you call, and this is for everybody out there, and I've spoken with him before, he's been on our show, John Green over in orthopedics at the Providence VA. If you want, you can look back through the Friday Friends. He was on in November of 2020, and we talked about some of the things. They can even facilitate getting a service dog if you need that. But yeah, the wheelchair accessibilities, the ramps, the grab bars, the widening of the doorways. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's something, again, 70% of our veterans who are out here and not enrolled, or just not really using any type of VA services whatsoever. This is something to consider down the line. You never know when you're going to need something.
And I think it's important too that the veterans realize that by enrolling in the VA health system, if their spouse needs help down the line, they may be eligible for the VA aid and attendance benefit, which can help cover the cost of community, like home care services or an assisted living facility, that kind of thing. So even though, maybe you're an OEF veteran and you're only in your 40s thinking, I'm fine, I don't need anything, it's all good. If you enroll now, in another, 40 years, when you're in your 80s and your spouse is in their 80s and they're having trouble, your spouse can get the help that they need.
Right.
So that's important too. So it's not just for yourself that you're enrolling, it's also to look after your family.
Right. It's going to help your wife or children down the line.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't realize until you did the calling all veterans, which I thought was amazing, by the way. Thank you.
Thank you.
About the nursing homes.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, I didn't realize myself personally that I thought it was just the Rhode Island Veterans Home here in Bristol, but I didn't realize there were all these other ones around the state and right over the line in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Which is, I think that's huge too, so that people can go on Google and just, VA.
Yes.
Veteran home.
Yep.
VA veteran home availabilities and see what pops up, and you'll see that. I forgot the name of the gentleman.
Yeah. So, yes. Oh my God.
It's okay.
Lewis.
Lewis.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
It's absolutely, yes. And you can always find that information on the RIElderinfo.com website too.
which is great. Your website is awesome. So that is another thing for all veterans. Check that out, as well as Rhode Island Serves.
Yep.
To get the help you need. Director Jan has done a nice job in his office of setting that up for all of us to be able to have one-stop shopping kind of. So there again, and they can connect you with folks as well.
Yeah, that's been great. Wally, I appreciate you coming back on to be on Friday Friends, for participating in the Calling All Veterans event. I think what you've shared today has been absolutely amazing. And, hopefully if someone was in a spot, then, maybe we've saved someone's life today.
That's what it's all about.
We're all in this together, right?
We are in this together. Thank you so much, Deb. You're doing amazing work out here. This is a great venue to get the information out to folks. And we thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Wally. I'll speak with you again.
All right. You take care.
All right.
Bye-bye now.
Well, everybody, that was some amazing information. It is really important that you hit the like button and the share, because there are roughly 40,000 veterans here in Rhode Island alone who are in need of information and resources about the DAV and what they might be available for. The statistics that Wally shared regarding suicides among veterans is absolutely stunningly heartbreaking. And you can make a difference in that by sharing this information and letting your friends and family and neighbors know that there is help available. If someone is in crisis, they can always call the VA crisis line at the 800-273-8255 and choose option number 1. In recognition of September 11th and the 20th anniversary, the rest of this month of September, it will be dedicated to resources for veterans. Next week, I am really looking forward to talking to the gentleman who founded Heroes Horizons. Until then, I hope you all have a wonderful week and stay well.
If you liked this video, please follow us on social media and subscribe on YouTube. For more information, visit rielderinfo.com or call 401-585-0509. If you have any questions, email deb@rielderinfo.com.